Coffee's ticking in.
Yeah.
Let's roll.
It's been one hell of a ride.
Cut. The director, you happy?
Oh, very happy.
Very happy. That's all we want. That's all we can ask for.
Action! Forward! Fella! Bang! Over a year and a half ago, I knew I wanted to make a war film, and I knew I wanted to make this film that I'd always kind of been picturing for a long time. And so Just Another Soldier, or JAS as it kind of became, is about the soldiers, about the kind of individuals, rather than, although I wanted to show the kind of grand scale of war, I always wanted to have that kind of conversation between kind of two different soldiers. And I'm always really interested as well of approaching kind of language barriers. How do people communicate with differences?
Rot von Blut.
Stained red.
We are trying to make a grand film, an ambitious film. It's big on scale, big on crew. Everything is kind of big.
The director, Daniel, approached me really, really early, and I thought it was a really ambitious project to try and produce.
It was such an ambitious project. I knew I had to take that opportunity.
I thought it'd just be a really interesting film. It pushed me out of my comfort zone. And
I have a massive kind of love and a massive interest in history, especially the kind of more modern wars. So I knew I wanted to set it in World War II. And from there, that's kind of where the characters formed. The character of Ernest being named after my great uncle. Ernest and Egon are kind of two completely different people, but also two people who are very much kind of joined at the hip in terms of their similarities. They're both also products of the kind of propaganda fed to them by the governments. Ernest is at a point where he no longer believes in that.
My country couldn't give a rat's arse about me, nor do I care much for my country.
Whereas Egon, he still believes in that kind of German propaganda machine.
it's not great to honor and dying for your Vaterland.
So with the casting process, we had over 100 applicants.
So for Ernest especially, it became very difficult to find someone who kind of exactly matched what we want, because we were sport for choice.
And we had this big spreadsheet basically giving our pros and cons, rating them out of 10, and then through that we filtered who got 7 out of 10 or higher and went through them in more depth.
In the end, we went with the actor Matt Muggleton, the star of 28 Weeks Later.
And an extra in Last Night in Soho, which is really cool.
I don't want to say that there was some bias there because of the roles he was in, but it definitely was kind of a talking point to mention to people. We really saw him embodying the role, and we saw him quite early on in the process. After we saw him, it was difficult to try and find anyone who kind of stuck out to us as much as he did.
Everything kind of fitted into place, which was nice.
From a directing standpoint, the way I saw this film was kind of a balance of two halves. So you've got inside the barn and you've got outside the barn. When it came to building the barn, I originally was hesitant about it because of obviously a lot could go wrong with it. Joe came to me with the idea and he said, you know, we should build this barn, we should build it inside. So, you know, the idea of controlling the set.
Shooting in an outside location with the sun changing would just be too difficult. We ended up shooting it in a barn that we built in a set for both creative and logistical reasons.
For me, it sounded really cool, but I was skeptical because whether it would look convincing as a barn.
Building the barn, I was quite shocked by it because I didn't even think about that to begin with. So I didn't know where we were going to source this wood, how we were going to build it, if they'd even let us have a studio for 5 days. That became a big issue. Organising it all, trying to get this studio when other people booked. It's been one hell of a ride, but I'm so glad that it's all happened now because it looks amazing.
We didn't have a production designer for this project, which meant that we would all have to take a part of it. Throughout the process, I really realized how much I loved being production designer and how interested I was in it.
It also let us do a number of creative decisions as well, like being able to manipulate where the light comes from.
The light shining through the planks.
Create like a really ethereal, out-of-world effect on the barn itself.
Then when we did some test shoots, when we put it into practice and through the incredible hard work that Joe and Leah, the editor, did on the production design as well, it absolutely came together and it blew my mind how impressive that barn looked. My big thing was it looking like a barn, and I think that's something we've achieved here. It did look really incredible and it really helped build that kind of visual element that we were really going for and that I really wanted to see as a director. I think it's going to look incredible.
And then we obviously had the issue of one of our actors had to drop out.
So 6 days before we were going to shoot the main bulk of our film, that kind of big studio shoot in the barn, we were kind of really at a difficult point where we're like, we don't have an actor who speaks German and we're filming, you know, at the start of next week. Could we get someone else to replace him? Could we, you know, find a different actor? We kind of contacted someone who had worked with the university before on a different war project a few years back, and he was more than happy to help out. And obviously there was that kind of nervousness that I especially felt from a directing standpoint, where I can't meet him in person until we shoot, so we're doing like an online call to try and rehearse. You know, will he kind of be right for the role?
So casting Lucas.
Absolutely incredible, loveliest guy, and you know, a real lifesaver on the day.
So here we are, first day of Just Another Soldier. So far it's been very great. Obviously early morning, getting everything sorted. We had to move around the set a couple times and obviously getting the lighting set up.
Weirdly enough, describing it as quite intimate because you've got him and you've got Ernest in this barn. The whole kind of visual element is different, where we kind of go from that kind of colder look to something a lot warmer in the barn. This is Egon's kind of place of solace in a way. This is the place he finds out more about himself. This is a place where, for the only point in the war, he feels at ease. Action.
Should have stayed in Germany, Kraut.
No, don't you?
Then looking at the actors, I really wanted, when directing them, I really wanted a natural performance. I really wanted to believe that we've taken two soldiers out of the middle of 1940 and we've stuck them in our film, and I wanted that to be believable in the mannerisms, in the attitudes, and that was something we spent a lot of time working on. Very nice, well done guys. Yesterday, it was I was obviously very stressed before going in because there was a lot to do and it was a lot, you know, the day before we were kind of behind schedule with things, so then coming forward we were like, you know, how do we kind of pick that up and will we get everything done?
So we started off quite behind schedule before lunch, but I think after everyone was fueled with food, we got everything done and everything we wanted to do that day was all good.
Yesterday was great. Great fun. Lovely crew, lovely people.
For a first day, like, it's actually quite surprising, you know. Usually it's like a playing catch up for a lot of it, but this time it was straight and narrow.
I think we probably couldn't have found better actors for the roles of Egon and Ernest.
It helped as well that they both stayed the night at our house. We offered them our rooms, treated like a little hotel service.
So it's nice to get a bit more personal with them.
Coffee's ticking in.
Yeah.
Let's roll.
I'm trying to avoid putting you in costume for as long as possible because of how uncomfortable it is, unless you're willing to go into it now.
I love you. Let's wait. Because I think someone didn't look at my measurement sheet when they ordered my uniform.
I followed it to a T.
We're just about to do Ernest shots, which is going to take probably the longest with the least amount of time in comparison to how much we need. So it's going to be a little bit stressful, but we're doing great.
Today is going to be even better.
I'm ready for it. Just need a bit of freshening up.
Can't wait to see what's going to happen. Going to create some magic today, so it's going to be good.
Everybody has to be on it, on set.
I'm absolutely loving it.
Something I kind of really became fixated on, this idea of, you know, wouldn't it be cool if we had something really impressive to show the scale. So I promised a lot of people, mainly drunk in the pub, that we were going to get a tank. There was that kind of pressure of going, I've told a lot of people, how are we going to get this? Not many people own tanks. It was something that was quite, you know, unusual to ask people of.
It was an issue figuring out where we were going to have the tank at first and trying to figure out budgeting locations for that.
We weren't operating on the full budget we would have liked.
It was quite difficult because we got 500 quid less in the end, and we had a lot of times where we had to like dip into savings and stuff like that.
But we tried, you know, various different ways of trying to access some kind of military vehicle.
Joe did a lot of it where he put it on a Facebook post, like a community post thing.
And everyone kind of pointed to this one guy. They were like, message Adrian, message Adrian. He can, you know, help with what you need.
And we got in contact with this guy called Adrian, who's an absolute legend.
He was very kind to give us both the tank and the use of his land for filming, which was incredible.
We didn't have to pay nearly as much as we thought we would.
He showed us around everything he had, and you know, I was like a kid in a candy shop, really. It was really exciting for me to see. You know, I got to sit in the tank, I got to sit on all the vehicles and, you know, feel that kind of like piece of history, as well as obviously the impressiveness of it and the idea that, oh, it was actually possible to get this tank.
It's what? Tank day!
Seeing all the extras in costume, I'm really excited for that. It looked really good.
Even just seeing them all walk down there.
It looks convincing. That was my big worry, but it looks good, and I'm excited to kind of get started filming and all the other stuff as well. Or are we?
It's starting to rain.
Yeah.
We only had to switch different setups. We had so much rain that we had to do the wet weather schedule, which means we'd have to shoot at about 12ish.
Hopefully the weather looks like it's moving over. Obviously there's a bit of rain in the air at the moment.
Like they're fine down there, but if it gets really bad and the wind picks up, then because we're just concerned that if the rain is picking up, then we're going to have to leave it. But we are currently behind schedule by about 20 minutes because of said weather. Now that it's let up and it's a little bit nicer, we're going to try and be shooting by 9:30 on the good weather schedule. So it's going to be a bit of a turnaround. We've now got to get the crew mustered, get everyone ready, because at the moment it's a little bit of up. No one really knows what's going on at the moment because of the weather situation. But yeah, so hopefully we can start taking control of the situation now and get going. Come on.
Are we coming in?
Get up. Get up.
Sweet.
Oh yeah.
Bye, thank you. Oh, you too, have a good day. Don't ask.
There he is.
Hello. Sehr gut.
No, it's like interval rain.
Cool. Quiet on set, everyone.
What is the you don't mark it. Much in the soul.
Action! So we were just doing some kind of standard stuff with some extras, and then it got to kind of just after lunchtime and we heard tank came whizzing around the corner. Everyone's kind of standing there, they've just finished lunch and they come round and they have a look at it all in all its kind of glory.
Seeing everyone's faces really like surprised it actually happened.
Oh my God, we've actually managed to get a tank. Seeing that kind of payoff at the end, I think is such a moment that's going to stick with me. You know, it was raining before, the sun came out, everything was perfect with that. And with Adrian helping us out the way he did, like, it made the film come together. It was phenomenal. I just stared at it for a few minutes just because of how exciting it was.
Lovely day. Are you ready?
Lovely day for some more.
I think so, I'm ready yet.
Bloody intense, isn't it?
Going from working on small projects to this big scale comes with the challenges, because there were a lot of challenges we faced. I wouldn't change it, to be honest. It was an incredible learning experience and an enjoyable experience. A lot of sleepless nights. This is a film that I'm incredibly proud of. Okay, cut.
Right, is that a wrap? Yeah. That's a wrap! Dan, I think Dan should say a speech, don't you think?
Yeah, no, obviously it's been a very challenging shoot, something that's gone on for a long time as well, this project, and a lot of kind of ups and downs with it, but it wouldn't be what it was and it wouldn't be the success it was if it wasn't for such an incredibly talented crew, an incredibly talented cast as well. You've all been phenomenal. I genuinely couldn't ask for better people, so thank you so much, and thank you so much again for all your hard work and all your dedicated support. It really, really means a lot.
To the crew, I love you all. It wouldn't have been possible without you, and I'm really, really glad that we had everyone on the team. I've definitely made some friends for life and also colleagues for life, and I'm really excited for the future of everyone's films.
I mean, obviously we had tanks today, which was pretty cool.
I'm so thankful to all the crew that helped. Everyone was amazing and so involved in it.
Job well done, guys. Pat yourself on the back.
Projects like this can't be pulled off unless everyone's giving it their hardest, giving it their all. And there's so many people who didn't need to give as much time as they did, who didn't need to put in the effort that they did, but they put in that effort, and that's what made the film what it was. But yeah, thank you all. Thank you.